Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. We've got a very exciting video for you today. Well, I've got a very exciting video for you today. I hope, first of all, everyone is at home and not losing their mind completely due to quarantine. So I figured, we've got beautiful makeup tutorials popping up everywhere. But I thought we could also expand on something that is beyond the scope of normal makeup. So in today's video, I'm going to show you how to use tattoo transfer paper to create this look. If you're excited, please keep on watching. Now, first of all, let me explain to you all how I even came about the idea of using tattoo transfer paper. So first of all, credit where credit is due. The idea first sprung to mind when I saw the skullstress use stencil tattoos, like ready-made tattoos, to create a look, and then she painted around that. Now, I figured tattoo artists use tattoo transfer paper to first create a stencil so then they could go in with their machine and actually put the tattoo down. Why don't we use this concept within the makeup space? Because, there are people who are incredibly good at freehanding certain shapes. Look at Chow Lee, for example. She is absolutely incredible at creating visuals, and she has such a steady and precise hand. But not every one of us is blessed that way. So it all started last year when I did a look for Bumble, and I wanted to create a little bee right around my eye, and I tried to freehand it at first and I just failed miserably, and then I figured out the whole tattoo transfer paper thing. So yeah, I'm going to walk you through how to create your own tattoo stencil, how to apply it, and how to create a makeup surrounding that image. So let's get started. First of all, let me explain the following. Tattoo transfer paper has 4 sheets. The first one, the yellow one, that is where you would put your design. The second layer is the ink layer. That will transfer onto the transfer paper. The third layer is a protection layer, so you can actually first create your design. Then the fourth layer is the layer that will become your actual stencil. Now, I go about it in the following manner. I first choose an image that I really like. So in this case, I chose koi carps, and I import a image into Photoshop and I start tracing all the outlines of that specific image. Then I print it. I slide it under the sheet, under the yellow sheet. I use a pencil like this to first trace my design. Then I remove the protection layer. I remove the design from underneath the yellow sheet, and then I start tracing it with a pen because there needs to be a distinction between the two things. Now, I use the pen because you can apply a bit more pressure, and you need that pressure for the ink to stamp onto the transfer paper. Now, let me show you my design. I've got 2 very cutesy koi fish that I will be placing diagonally over my face. I've already cut out the 2 designs that I will be using. So that is this one, because it has a beautiful tail. And then I've got this one, which is slightly smaller, so I have a little bit more space to work with, because if I'm gonna place it diagonally over the face, I'm gonna reach a certain point where I cannot continue anymore. So yeah, let's get to the application part. What you need is stencil stuff, and this is called a stencil primer. I've got one by Electrum. It's just a little sticky stuff that you apply straight onto the skin so that the ink will transfer from the paper onto your skin. The first step you want to take is a little micellar water to clean the area that you will be applying your stencil to. Now, throughout this entire process, you want to be extra careful of where you place your hands, how you go about things. So just be aware that you need to be a little bit more gentle with your makeup application. Now, if you're working on a man, for example, there might be the problem of hair that will get in the way of applying your stencil. If it's a area like the cheekbone and you maybe want to actually create a fake tattoo for that specific shoot, then maybe ask him if you can shave that area so you don't have coarse hairs your stencil. Now, there's two sides to the stencil, one that actually has the ink on it and one that doesn't. The part where the ink is on, that is the part that goes onto the skin. Then if you're ready, apply a little bit of the stencil stuff to your skin. Make sure you really catch onto all the areas where you think the stencil might go. It's better to go a little bit larger just to make sure you've captured every single part of it, than to under apply and having to go back in and maybe messing up the stencil you want to use. If you're going to do this on set, by the way, it might be good to bring 1 or 2 backups. There we go. Now I've got a little bit of tissue paper just so I can press without messing up the whole design. Then make sure you're certain about your placement. Press onto one part and then just slide over. Now I'm gonna grab the tissue paper to just press it on so all the lines are saturated in the stencil stuff. And then once you feel like you've really pressed down on all the areas and all the areas are saturated, you can remove the paper and take a look at your design. Ta-ta-da! Ta! This is making me so happy already. I'm going to look like a full-on criminal, but I'm absolutely fine with that. There we go! I haven't done something so big before, but I'm really excited. Now I'm going to try to keep the base as light and as natural as I possibly can get it, because it is a lot going on the face, and I want you to think of this as an editorial look, something that you would do on set or just to get creative at home. So I'm going to use the Vanish foundation stick by Hourglass, and I'm using the color Shell to get a very natural skin going. Let's grab onto our favorite S165 by Cosette to apply the product. Now the best part about this is that you can go over the stencil with powders, so you actually can apply color. It's just that with all the cream products you want to be careful. So obviously after I've done my skin, I'm going to apply a little bit of color everywhere. I've also got the D20 by Cosette to just get into all of those areas that are a little harder to reach. Alright, now that I've got my base done, I also quickly in the meantime did my brows because I don't want it to be an hour-long video. I'm gonna go in with an eyeshadow palette because I do want to have a little bit of color in the background. So I've got the Norvina Volume 3 palette because it has all these amazing orangey tones in there, and I want to use those to create some kind of a watery blend underneath the koi carb before I go in with black. I'm going in with a Refer number 7, and I'm gonna grab onto that incredible orange. This is a 5. And I'm just going to tap it onto the areas that I wanna have a bit of color. Let's zoom you in to get a better look. So I won't mind if there's a little bit of color bleeding outside of the lines, because I feel like it could be a really beautiful addition, that it transcends beyond just the graphic shape. I'm also going to go in with a smaller brush, no clue which number this is, but it's also by Refer, so I can get some of these colors in a more detailed space. I might even have to go even smaller to get all these colors in the right places. So let me see if I can find my refer 3. Got it. Now, I've never done this shape before, but I'm just kind of letting my brush guide me through this whole thing and see where it ends up. And the beauty of it is that even though we are packing on color like no other, we can still see the definition of the lines underneath. And those lines we are going to follow with a black eyeliner later on. So we can just go ham on whatever color you want to do. Now with my number 3 pencil, I'm going to go in with C2, which is a little bit more red to intensify some of these shapes. Then I'm going to grab onto E4 to pop a bit of yellow in there, just because we can. And this is just one of those things that made me so happy to be a makeup artist, because it gives me the freedom to do whatever I want to do. There's nobody stopping me from creating a visual or from doing something that is outside of the box. I also like the parts where the skin actually peeks on through, so I might go in with a cotton bud and a little bit of micellar water to bring back the skin. Just be mindful of the stencil, because if you apply a little bit of micellar water to any part of the stencil, it will come off. Now, a dry Q-tip is also a lovely way to blend out certain colors without adding anything onto there, but just blending it out so it becomes a little bit more natural. Look at me saying natural. There's nothing natural about this. I've also got the Claropsyche palette with me here, and it has a really good white in there, and I'm going to use that to bring forth a few parts of this shape. Now, for now, it just still looks like a very orangey blob, but let me just quickly do the other side, and then I'll get back to you with the liner. Now, once you feel like you've got all your colors in place, we're going to go in with eyeliner. And this is the tricky part. So a few tips on doing eyeliner, because this isn't just an eyeliner, it is a graphic image. So what I usually do is I grab a thick book to put underneath my elbow, so I have a little bit of stability while I'm working. The second tip is grab an eyeliner that really works for you. You've all got your favorite. Grab something with a really thin tip so you can work really nice and detailed. My absolute favorite for this is the Surratt Auto-graphique eyeliner, and it just... if you're going to go for something graphic and something like an image, then I would definitely recommend this. Also, if you can, grab a magnifying mirror, because it is going to be a nitpicking job to get all the little lines in place, and a magnifying mirror is going to help you out, and it's going to make it a little bit easier to place the tip of the eyeliner. So let's get to it. I'm going to start on this side of the face so you all can see properly, and then I'll just finish up this side on my own. Now, because this does require a little bit of concentration, I'm just going to put some music on, and I'm just going to do the shapes without talking to you. I'll get back to you later. Now, one other tip I can give you, if you are doing this on someone else, put them down on a bench, put them down on your lap, and start working from there so you have a very calm, relaxed subject. The model is comfortable, you won't have her sitting up like this for a long period of time, and especially don't push on the head if you are working on someone else. So yeah, lay them down, it will make it that much easier. I'm gonna do the other side. Wish me luck! Now, one other thing I forgot to mention is if you are doing this, start from the furthest part out and work your way down, just so you don't mess up any of the liner you've already done by placing your hand or your finger on top of it. Now, I usually use my pinky to get some kind of stability on top of the book, obviously, that I use to hold my elbow, but you can also use your pinky, but place it strategically so you have the option of tracing without shaking. I also have to admit that it's most difficult on yourself, especially if you place it on parts that is so far out of your vision. So you really have to place your mirror strategically to be able to actually see what you're doing. If you're doing this on someone else, I promise you it will be a lot easier. Now, once you've placed all your shapes in the right area, go into the mirror, go full close and start fine-tuning whatever needs fine-tuning, or maybe add a few details or elaborate the drawing where you kind of want to elaborate it on. So a few speckles here and there can just enrich in that whole idea of the painting. So I'm going to do that and I'll be right back. Now, this is completely your party. You can do whatever you want, pick any image you want, and you can fill it in any way you want. So what I've done here on the left side of my face, right for you probably, I've added a few golden speckles here and there just to make it a little bit more lively. So I'm going to do that as well on the right side. So I'm just adding a few golden speckles. I'm using the Couture eyeliner number 9 by YSL, and obviously I already went in with my black eyeliner to get some spots in here and there, and I'm just going to add a few gold ones as well, which will kind of only lift up the moment it hits the light. Now, this is fully your party. If you want to add an eye look or lipstick to this whole array, then please go ahead and do that. If you are going for an editorial, I would keep the skin and the eyes and the lips as natural as possible if you are going to create an imagery like this. One thing I always do like to do is curl my lashes because it does give a little bit of a lifting effect. I'm using one by Laura Mercier. And I think I've told you guys before, but I like to curl my lashes in multiple steps so that they actually give you a curl and not just like a little rooftop. Okay, I'm going to go in with a little bit of lip balm, and I think I might add a little bit of highlighter here and there. I've got the Jouer Essential Lip Enhancer, and this is just one of those really, really nice lip balms. And I'm gonna make sure that I actually get every little part of that lip, because it will reflect, especially if you're doing photography with a flash, then it will reflect in the light, and it always helps to emphasize the lips in a specific way. For highlighter, I am grabbing onto the Illamasque Oh My God Beyond highlighter powder, and I'm just gonna tap a bit on my finger and just add some light sources here and there, but you want to be gentle. You just want to add focal points to the face. Now, highlighting on this cheekbone will probably be a little bit difficult, so I'm only going to do a little bit of highlighter on the other cheekbone, and just gently, because it is powerful. Keeps catching me off guard, but just a hint of highlighter right there without going over the black. You know what? Perhaps if I grab onto a teeny tiny brush, I can add a little bit of gold right there. Maybe a bit on the brow bone. There you go. Time to photograph this baby. There you have it, loves, my tutorial on how to use tattoo transfer paper to create imagery on your face. I really hope you've enjoyed this tutorial. If you've liked it, please let me know. If you're going to recreate it, please let me know, because I really would love to see. And good luck on all your future endeavors on set or on yourself, whatever is your preference. Thank you so much for watching and joining me, and I'll see you next time. Bye!